Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. We're just going to wait a couple more minutes to see if other people will be joining us shortly. My name is Lily. I'll be your main host. So yeah, let me know if you guys can hear the audio okay. Thumbs up, or you can put in the chat as well. Thank you for joining us. All good. Great. You see a bunch of thumbs up there. So I have here with me James. He'll be joining us shortly as well. He's our CEO, and we have a couple of panelists as well, just some rest of the team. If you have any questions, so there should be a Q&A option for you guys. So the rest of our durable experts are going to be in the Q&A answering any of your questions while we go through today's agenda. So I'm going to jump to that while we're waiting. But I'd like to give it another 3 minutes just because we had a lot of interest and I want to make sure that everyone has time to kind of log in and get that going. But thanks for joining us. Hope everyone's doing well. We were actually laughing because as soon as we started this webinar, somebody started jackhammering right outside our window. So that was a fun coincidence.
In the next 3 minutes, you should be able to create at least 10 websites. So yeah, revert back here once those 10 sites are created. But yeah, really great to meet everyone. Excited to see the turnout here.
James is a little bit taller than I am, so we're just gonna angle that for a little bit there. Yeah, and so we had a lot of interest from a lot of people that I know are in international times, and so we really thank you if you're staying up a little bit later than usual to join us. That's really great. We're hoping to have this webinar kind of become like bi-weekly, monthly occurrence so that we're able to kind of touch base on everything. And if you by any chance can't join or have to leave early, it is being recorded. So we'll be sure to send that out to everyone after, as well as any supporting documentation, anything like that. We're just really excited to get you guys started on Durable. So I'm going to give it a couple more minutes. People will slowly start coming in, I'm sure of it. In the meantime, I'll just kind of go through our agenda. And I'm just all right. Okay, so I think we can kind of get started since we want to make sure we use up all your time. So I'm going to start just kind of talking a little bit about our agenda today. So like I said, my name is Lily. I am the customer success lead here at Durable. And you've probably spoken to me if you've reached out to any of our support team, or if we had a meeting, onboarding, I'm the one that's kind of leading all of that. And this is James, our CEO and co-founder.
Hello.
So I'm going to pass it on to James a little bit now, and he's just going to go through a little bit of what Durable is.
Awesome. Thanks, everyone. Excited to be here. I'm going to crouch down so I fit on the desk here. It's fine. Yeah, just really appreciate everyone jumping on here. I think it's nice to put real faces behind the company. We are real people. We're not AI. Well, we might be, but really good AI. And yeah, our mission is really to make owning a business easier than having a job. So I founded the company about 2 years ago with a great team here. And I've been a business owner my entire career. So I ran a web design company in high school, ran a home services company, ran another web design agency, multiple software products. And really the whole process of starting a business to me is just way too challenging. Everything from marketing, creating a website, back office. It's just too tough. And I think there's a world in which we can solve that. So yeah, since launch, it's been incredible. Just the response from customers like you. We've had over 2 million websites generated in 100 countries, and we're on track to hit almost 500 million website views from websites built on Durable this year. So super excited for that. And yeah, excited to keep building a great product for our customers here. Just touching base on why AI and small business. I think this is a moment on the internet and also the world where AI is this empowering tool for individuals to actually compete and become businesses, and for small businesses to really compete against larger companies. So using AI as leverage, you can, like we've seen it, we can automatically generate websites, marketing copy, promotions, marketing plans. So our goal is to really be this conduit between this frontier AI technology and real business owners, and giving you all leverage to compete and make your lives a lot easier. And the demand is super high. There's just this huge influx of small business growth in the US and worldwide, and we want to help everyone get started. And essentially, like I touched on before, the user experience of business ownership is broken. If you're doing it correctly, there's 15 different tools. There's a lot of different subscriptions, a lot of different things you have to build and pay for as you're starting a company. And our long-term vision is really to put that all into one simple, easy-to-use platform. So starting with the website, moving on to marketing tools, promotions, lead generation, CRM, communication. There's this whole suite of software that we want to offer to our users, along with some great partnerships to make that process of running a business super easy. So can we bring it all down to a few clicks and you've got a business and you show up, you get paid, and you can make as much money as possible and really, design the life that you want through business ownership. That's really our mission here. So just touching quickly on the product roadmap, our first goal is to build the best website product on the market. That is our number one priority right now. That's what people are signing up for. That's what people are using. How can we make that better? So we're working on a lot of improvements to the website generation. So this amazing color model we're working on to create amazing colors for your websites, more fonts, improved copywriting. We just got access to 100 million more images, illustrations, and video assets to make your websites even better. Lily's going to touch on some new features like automated page generation. We've got an incredible blog product coming live in the next few weeks here. We're going to do a beta for that pretty quickly, so stay tuned. And I think it's actually the best blog product on the market. So yeah, look forward to that one. And then just let us know. We want to work really closely with our customers here and build the things you need to succeed in your company. Then step 2 is expanding the scope here. So helping with branding, logo generation, marketing automation, company formation, moving into the back office. So anything we can do to automate and make your business ownership journey easier, that's what we're here for. So again, thank you so much. Super excited to have everyone here today. And yeah, I'll pass it on to Lily.
Awesome. Thank you so much, James, for joining us. So that's just a little bit of an overview of what Durable is and what our mission is. So hopefully, we'll get to see you guys around. So I'm just going to switch slides here shortly. And also, again, for those who are joining, my name is Lily, and I'm the customer success lead here at Durable. And essentially, I'm just going to be walking you through. So today's topic is, here, let me jump back to our slides. So today's topic is primarily on just kind of how to get the best out of your Durable and how to make sure that, I'm going to jump back to our agenda. Yeah, sorry guys, so many screens. There you go. Well, this is today's agenda. So I'm just going to kind of have an overview of website creation, essentially, which is you've gotten your website, we had submitted, and if you haven't had a chance to have a website now, literally take the next 30 seconds and go ahead and do it. It's that fast. It's that easy. So as I'm chatting, you can go ahead and create your first website. We have a 90-day trial for you guys to try it out. So you can kind of follow through as I'm going along, or you can take notes. Like I said, this is being recording, and we're going to be sending you a full transcript. It's going to be available in a couple of different languages, as well as just any support links or anything like that that we think may be useful. So that's kind of the idea behind today's agenda. So I'm just going to jump right into it. Okay. So like most of you, when you start up with your new Durable website, the first thing that you're taking to is kind of here. We refer to this as our main dashboard. So you'll be able to access on the right-hand side there, that's your account. And then on the left side here, you have essentially all of our features in our product. So we have website, marketing, CRM, invoicing, and our new AI assistant. I'm going to be touching primarily on our website today, and I'm going to be briefly talking a little bit about the CRM, just because that comes into play in the website, as well as the AI assistant. So I'm going to go right ahead and open up my website. Alrighty. So one of the first things that I want to call attention to is right when you start in, this is kind of the structure, the bones of what Durable does for you. And we're happy to help out, but we also want to make sure that you have the ability to customize it and make it your own. So let's start right at the top with our website header. So the website header is essentially, it's going to be always at the top here. And it's essentially where your business name is going to be displayed. And then on the right-hand side, we have what we refer to as call to action buttons. So your social media profiles, as well as just that really big button there. And I'm going to touch on that a little bit longer. So to edit this, you just click on it and you're going to click on edit website header. And so you have a couple of different options here. So you can either have your site name, the way it kind of is right here, or you can replace it with a company logo if that's what you'd like. So if you do have a company logo that you want to add in here, then feel free to just do that. Just one thing that I do call attention to is make sure that your profile is the image is either a PNG or a JPEG file. And so when you have your logo, one of the things that you can do is also either go straight to, having it on the center, the nav bar. So I'm going to start talking with just the image first, so you guys can kind of see that. So our style is either on the left-hand side, but I can also have it on the center, or if I prefer, in kind of like on the right-hand side and have it that on the other side there. Usually by default, it's in the middle here, but you can kind of decide what you guys are looking for, if that's what it is. So now I'm going to upload my logo here. I'm going to open that up. So I'm just going to upload Durable's logo. This is kind of what it looks like. Oops. And I'm going to go here. So if you don't have a logo and you just want to use an image, you'll be able to see that we connect with a couple of different medias. And this is going to come out throughout the website when you have the option of uploading any image itself. So if you know what you're looking for, you're welcome to just kind of, select here, go straight to your upload. However, if you're not sure and you want kind of an input on our end, then we're happy to help you out with that as well. So this is my Durable logo. This is kind of what it looks like. And I can kind of select how big I want it to be with just like this. Our little controls here on the right-hand side, and that's what it would look like. We do usually recommend having a transparent background, but if not, make sure it just kind of like matches the overall. So I'm going to keep it on the left-hand side because I kind of like about that. And then I want to talk a little bit about your social media icons. Now, social media icons, not necessarily the icons themselves, but just social media in general is a great way to get the word out there about your website and just kind of let the world know that you exist, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, they have exploded. Even things like TikToks lately are a great source of just advertising. We know we've gotten a lot of views on our end from TikTok. Our head of marketing, JJ, has been doing a great job with that. And so we know the power that these things have. And so we want to make sure that you have that power as well and that you're able to advertise these other areas to your customers. So by default, we have these three: Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. So to edit those in, you just come in here, open it up, and then you just put your Instagram link. So in this case, I could just go in here and put like Durable Team and save it. Or in our case, if I were to use our own, it would be durable.ai. I can go in here and save it. So now what I'm doing is I'm taking this icon that is here on the top, and I'm making it a real icon, which means that when people click on it, it'll take you somewhere. You don't have to have all three icons filled in, but we do recommend 3 as just kind of like a good solid number. It's aesthetically pleasing, and it will make sure that your header isn't too clunky. But you can add other channels as well. As you can see here, we have multiple social medias that we integrate with their own respective icon, and you can add them in. One thing that I do want to say is that if you don't have a Facebook page, then it's good practice to just come in here and delete it, because we don't want to have any dead links, essentially just links on your website that users will try to click on. It doesn't really take you anywhere. So in this case, I'm going to just stick with my Instagram one and kind of go from there. So then the other thing that I want to talk about is that button that I was saying, our call to action button. So you're going to see these buttons scattered around. And as the name says, the whole point of it is to kind of make it big and flashy and get your customers to perform a specific action that you're looking for them to do. And usually has either something to do like with calling us, contacting us, booking our services at that point. So when you click on here and you go to the very bottom where your label is, you can kind of make this whatever it is that you want it. The call us is a pretty standard. So if you have a phone number that you want them to call in, make sure to come here to your link and change that to phone. But if you have an email that you prefer them to use, you can come in here and add that in as well. So for example, I could come in here and just be like lily@durable.co. And now that email there is kind of there. And if you have any questions about anything that I'm saying, feel free to use the Q&A. Our Durable experts are on there. They're answering questions as you go along. You can also add some stuff in the chat, and I'll promise to do my best to kind of look at it overall. If you did put something in the webinar chat, you may want to also put it in the Q&A, just so that we make sure that you get a timely answer and you don't get lost in kind of like the jumble of the chat. So just a reminder there for that. And then lastly, what I want to talk about is just the image of the website itself. So you have here the option of just like full width. So if you have a really large, monitor and you want to see what your website would look like, it just essentially would follow all of that path. That's kind of what the full width does. Whereas if you don't have it, it's going to kind of stick to more constrained. It's hard to tell on this screen because I have a smaller laptop screen, but essentially if you were to put it in a bigger place, the logo would just kind of like expand or fall with. And the sticky, what that does is that it will keep that header at the very top. So normally when you scroll something, the header just goes up as well. But if you want it to kind of always remain there so that people have a way of coming back or clicking your icons or that call to action buttons on the top right, then you can do so as well with just activating the stickiness factor. Last but not least, we have our background. So the generator, when it creates it for you, it'll try to match with like some of the themes that you already have here, but you're welcome to come in here and change it as well. So for example, if you have a logo that has very specific colors, you can come here and change that as well, either by inputting the exact text code, or if you just want to play around with the colors, you can do so as well. I'm going to keep it at black because I think it really makes my logo pop. So I really like what that looks like. So here you can see what that looks like. I have my button. One thing I forgot to do is that when I updated this, I actually, instead of call us, I'm going to put email us because I did change my link from calling to that. And so you can click when I when I click save, it's immediately going to update that for us. All right, so now that our header is kind of set up, and that's just like the full functionality, sorry, not full function, but that's like a standard piece. Our header is, it's there, it's going to be set up, it's going to follow us. I didn't choose to make it sticky, which is why when I scroll, it's kind of going up. We're going to talk about the banner. So while we don't necessarily need a banner display, we highly recommend it because it's one of the most eye-catching parts of your website. And this is also just a really great opportunity for you to highlight not only what your business does, but any special events or promotions. For example, we've had multiple customers use it to highlight special Mother's Day promotion or Father's Day promotion that's coming up. Personally, I like using this to kind of just anything that I really want users to see. It's the first thing, it's big, it's nice, it's eye-catching. This is kind of where I would go ahead and add that in. With a combination of the image and the big bold text, that's a great way of kind of doing that. So here's what my heading is. So it's like that really bold part there at the top. You can come in here and you can add anything that you were looking for, just like an overall view. So my website today is specifically based on real estate. So that's why some of my focus is going to be on like, how do I get real estate located? And for those of you who don't know, we are located in Vancouver, Canada. So that's why a lot of our focus today is just going to be like, specifically targeting Vancouver, because when it comes to real estate, we want to make sure that our location is like on display, since that's one of the main leading factors. All right, and then we have here a subset. The great part about Durable is that if you're like, okay, but Lily, I don't know what to say, I don't know what to put in any of these things, that's what we're here for. So you can come in here and be like, all right, this sounds pretty cool, but I'd like to see something a little bit different. You can just go ahead and click our regenerate button. And what that will do is that Durable will kind of do the heavy lifting for you. It'll think about it. It'll be like, okay, here are the themes that you were talking to me about. And here's what I think is a great way of describing your business. And the wonderful part about Durable as well is that not only does it regenerate this for you and kind of like do the heavy lifting in terms of like how to word it and all of that, but over time, it'll become very familiar with your specific brand. The more time you're on Durable, the more time you use it, the system is going to be very attuned to your specific needs, your voice, all of that. It's just going to remember, because that's the beauty of machine learning. The more time you interact with it, the more it's going to start picking up on your specific things. So I'm kind of happy with this subtext. I like what it looks like. It looks like that's kind of the vibe that I want. If there's anything that I want to change in here, I can always come in here and be like, and we can provide, because that sounds a little bit more like me as opposed to anything else. I can go ahead and add this in here. And then lastly, there's again that call to action button. So at the start, if you just want to be able to kind of communicate with your customers, then the contact is a great way of going about it. You can link it in here again. So I want to talk about the buttons and just your options. So you have here what's called external. Essentially, if you want to link to an external page, so maybe you have like a specific Instagram post you want them to see, or a listing, on a website that you want to call attention to, you can click external and redirect them to a new page. Email is kind of like I said, which is just essentially email. So if you were to click on that, the email app would open up on their laptop or on their phone. And then for phone, the same thing. If they're, clicking on this button from their mobile phone, if they were to click on phone, if they were to click on the button and it'd be set to phone, that means they would just go straight to the phone. What I want to talk about a little bit is the page. So I'm going to highlight it, but I'll come back to it with a little bit more details later down the line. So page is essentially if you want to link it to an internal page that you already have. So if you want it, like I'm selling homes, for example, you want to see my portfolio, I could have another page on my website that's not my homepage that just says portfolios, and I could link it to that. But we're going to come back to this one when I talk a little bit more about pages. And then the same thing here with the alignment. Do I want it to be in the middle? Do I want it to be on the side? You can kind of decide here. I like the look of it in the middle, actually, so I'm going to go with that. And so I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to change this up a little bit because I like the look of that a little bit more. Okay, and then lastly, I want to talk about the image. So part of the banner and its appeal is that there is an image behind all of this text overlay, which means that, you know, people are really drawn to it. So you can either, same thing, if you want to put in a different picture, you can click on replace and upload your own specific one, or you can have the system regenerate one based on your prompt. And if you want to crop it a very specific way, then that's where these buttons come in here as well. So you can kind of be like, I want to move this picture a little bit more horizontal, or I want to move this picture a little bit more vertical, up and down. You can see there that it'll kind of change it because I really want to have the center be this area. And then lastly, the background overlay just makes it a little bit easier to read. So if we didn't have it, you could see there that my text isn't popping as much as I would like it to, but that background overlay just kind of helps it read a little bit more. And then you can see here the colors that you can choose. And you can, in theory, also pick how much of it is like the transparency factor. But overall, I think I like how it's here, so I'm going to leave it as such. And then we're going to scroll down to our next section. You'll notice that while I'm scrolling down, there are options that say here, add section. I'm going to touch base on those later on as well. But essentially, we're just going to work off of the ones that come right from the start. If you have any questions about it, then you can kind of go ahead and add that in the chat, and I'll try to answer as many as I can as well. So our next section here, block, is just an image section. Pictures are a way to just make sure that your website is visually appealing, but also, you know, aesthetically engaging, and they help to break up kind of text and add more colors to the overall scheme of things. So depending on the industry that you are, pictures are a really great way to kind of showcase your talent. And then to edit the image, you can just go in here, same thing, you're going to go to the pencil icon. And then you're going to go ahead and either, if I like my picture, I can keep it. If I want to replace it, I can do so. And I can change the background, which is just kind of like the background here. But if you're like, I don't even want the background to display, I can go ahead and click full width. And the same thing here, I can kind of decide a little bit more. Oh, actually, I want my house a little bit further down, and I can keep it like that. So that's kind of what the image here does. One thing that I didn't touch upon actually before I started is I wanted to just kind of explain what all of these buttons are in case you're a little confused. So the pencil icon just means edit. So that means I can go into that block and edit it specifically. This little square one means duplicate, which means that if I wanted to do it again, I could just click on it, and here it is at the bottom again. So if you like kind of the same vibe and you don't want to have to recreate it, you just want to change a couple of like images, for example, just a great use of that. If you don't like it, that's where the trash can will come around. You can just go ahead and click on it, and they'll ask, do you want to remove it? Yes. And then lastly, we have our arrows. So the arrows are just kind of come into practice when you want to move certain blocks around. So you're like, I like this image, but I don't want it right after the banner. So I can go ahead and click on here, and it's going to go to the section further down there. So I'm going to move this back just so that will continue the flow. The next section that we have here is our testimonial sections. Now, these serve as powerful endorsements, boosting credibility. So we love testimonials, reviews. They're also really great. I don't know about you guys, but whenever I'm searching for the new business, the first thing I do is I go on Google, see the Google's reviews, or I open up the websites and I see what are people saying about this company? Because, you know, especially when you're trying something out, word of mouth has so much power to it. And so we recommend showcasing a few testimonials, but if you're not sure, if you only have one, sometimes all you need is one really strong one. You don't really even have to have a bunch of them. But if you do, then the way to add those in is the same thing. You go here, click on the little pencil icon, and you're going to click on add testimonial in here. So you can add in your quote. I'm going to go and add in hello world. If you get that joke, hit me up. But if not, essentially, I'm going to add in my quote here, and then there you go. So now my testimonial is right next here, and here on the way it's displayed on your website is just via the kind of a scroll here. So customers can click on the next ones to see what's happening and just kind of go ahead from there. All righty. Let me know if I'm going too fast or if you guys have any questions. I'm trying to read the chat. I promise I am, but I'm hoping that all of my great panelists and co-hosts are answering your questions. I know I can see them popping up. We've already answered 26. I can see they're doing a really great job. So yeah. And just a reminder that if you want to make sure that your question really does get answered, then go ahead and put it in the QA box, not the chat box. It should be at the very bottom of your screen as well, because in that way we'll make sure that someone, but I'll make sure that somebody on my team is also actively looking at the chat and that they can answer it as well as you go along. Alrighty, so then the next part here in our section is essentially what we refer to as kind of like a mixture of text and images. So this is really great for highlighting things like our services. So, you know, if you provide more than one option, what does that look like? What are some of the different options that you do? I'm in real estate, so therefore I want to showcase that I do property management, home staging, as well as some home inspections every once in a while. So to add these in, kind of the same thing. So this one to edit, because there are 3 different ones, I'm going to have to not only first edit the block itself, but then here on the right, on the bottom, a little bit more, I have the individual items that I want to edit. So in case you're like, okay, I want to make sure that I just talk about property management right now, I'm going to go ahead and click on the pencil icon that's specifically related to property management. And then I can go here and add in my title. And then this is a brief description of what that service is. One of the things that I want to kind of highlight is that I know you're going to be tempted to add a lot of information and be like, oh, here's everything that I provide for property management. But this is mostly just kind of like an overview. It's like a window shopping. So you want to gauge their interest. And then we want to come here where our more info call to action button is, and that's where we're going to lead them to probably a new page where we're going to be able to highlight that. That makes it not only a better user experience, you know, for those on mobile, but you make sure that you're actually engaging with the customer. You're getting them to click into a new page. And with a new page comes a bunch of new possibilities. And again, I'm going to touch on that page shortly. But essentially, that's usually my recommendation. Unless you have like specific external links that you want to link them to, then that would be a great opportunity to kind of do more info. Another thing is if you're like, well, I just want to like showcase my talent, but I don't really know how to do that. I don't have any wording for it. You can also just make this a very basic call me button as well, and you know, or like book now. So if you have different services and you want them to book specifically, this is a great way to get them to book that specific thing that you're looking for, so we can have it be there. So for this one, I'm just going to leave it like this as it is, but if I had an additional page, I would come in here. So if you were linking to a page that already exists within Durable, you're going to go ahead and click on page, and then I'm going to come in here and select it out of all of the ones that I have. In this case, I haven't created my page just yet, so I'm going to leave this as is, but I will come back to it shortly. We have something really exciting when it comes to new pages, and so I'm really thrilled to be able to share that with you guys. So moving on to our next one. So these are all of my items. If I wanted to add more list items, I can definitely go ahead and do that. I just go in here, add in that image or even that text. And also the beauty of Durable is that, you know, I know what my service is, but I'm really bad at just kind of like spelling it out, or I don't know how to phrase myself in a way that makes it engaging. That's where Durable comes in and really shines with the generate prompt. So I can be here and be like, you know, short-term rentals. And come in here and be like, all right, generate info based on the short-term rental that we're talking about. Same thing with my image here. I can get it to just generate an image if I'm just overwhelmed. Additionally, though, you can come in here and replace it. This is where I want to highlight our media selector a little bit, which is not only do I have real estate here, but if I want to focus specifically on something, I can go ahead and do this too. So maybe I just want to showcase, you know, Vancouver as a city in general. So I will come in here, click on search. And yeah, I want my images to kind of portray, and I can go ahead and pick some of the ones that I have here. You'll notice that there's the upload button, which is essentially what we talked about, where you can either select directly from what's on your desktop, on your computer. And then we have the library option. So the library are all pictures that you have already at some point either uploaded to Durable, you can see here our logo, or images that are already on your website at some point or another that you expressed an interest in. So instead of having to come and be like, what was that like kitchen one that I really liked, it's already here for you, so you don't have to worry about that. Right, so I actually really like this one by Mike, so I'm going to go ahead and select that, and I'm going to click insert. Awesome, and then I'm going to go ahead and just save that one. And this one doesn't need to have a call to action button, so I'm going to go ahead. I actually don't need home inspection for my website, so I'm going to go ahead and delete that full listing. And now I have a nice kind of center there. While not necessary, we do usually recommend using this particular services in groups of 3, just so that it's a little bit nicer. You guys saw when I added in a 4th one there, it was a little bit wonky. And so we're working on making sure that you guys, not only have a great website, but it's aesthetically pleasing, but you can also easily find things. So we want to make sure that, all of that text, that's why when we say, make sure that you have information and it says exactly what you're trying to do, but you don't have to have a whole book chapter on there because we want to make sure that users get what they need to do looking really quickly. So that's essentially kind of what text and image is. And then our next section I'm going to talk about is our location. So location is incredibly important when it comes to just telling users where you are and where they can find you. It'd be great if I want a physical trainer, but he's in Italy, unfortunately. I won't be able to meet with him, but it's great if they're actually in my area. And so depending on what you do, you're able to kind of tell them directly where to find you. So my location is just Metro Vancouver. So if you service a general area, then you can definitely just put in like the general area that you service, especially if you can come provide services to customers directly. Or if you want to get a lot more specific, you can come in here and add a very specific business address as well. That works. You can also pick between an inline map, which is just the map on the left-hand side there, as well as the information, or my personal favorite, the background map. I just think it looks really cool, and it allows for just kind of people to know where I am. You also have the option of doing like outdoor themes or like something like light, which means that you're really popping where you want. And you can also not only on top of that change your theme, but you can change the color of your marker. So if you really want to call attention, be like, I am exactly here. You can make it like a very obnoxious purple color like I did there, so that users will be able to find you. So for those, if I went a little faster for you guys, so I was just playing around with the theme here. Rounded corners are just a general, like referring to this block here. Do I want it to have like, here's what it looks like with not rounded. A little rounded just gives it a nice kind of soft edge there. You can align the map as well, which side you want it to be in. And then just the background field of my location specifically. All of these headings can be changed here at the top. And then if you have more information, like I said, if you have a specific address, you can go ahead and add this in here. All right, so that's just my location file there. Any questions about that? Please make sure to add them into the chat. I'm going to be saying this a couple of times, so no worries if I'm repeating myself. I'm also going to take a quick water break. Thanks for that, guys. All righty, so we're going to talk now about our contact form. So having a contact form on your website allows you just to easily and conveniently reach out to you, which is great because it opens up communication for not only potential leads, but potential customers, and you have all of that information recorded. So it lets users ask questions, request information, and inquire about your products or service or anything like that. But also it lets you capture essential user data, such as their names, their emails for future follow-ups, or any marketing efforts that you're looking to do. That's where the contact form is really great. And one of our most requested features was the ability to customize this contact form even more. And we've done that. So we're happy to kind of add in and show you how to do that. So by default, we have your name, your email, and then just a general message. So it could be like an inquiry. So I'm going to go ahead and click on here. And I want to show you guys, okay, like here's the contact us. If you want to know a little bit more about our realty process, here's what it looks like. And then I'm going to go in here and where it says custom fields, and I'm going to go and click manage fields. So here's some options that are already available to you, if you wanted to know that. But if you want to create your own, you can now click where it says new custom field, and you have the ability to kind of request anything that you want from customer, including a rating. So if you're like, I want to actually know what your thoughts are on something, go ahead and use that rating. I can go ahead and here, I will label it rating, go ahead and save it. And now users, when they're filling this out, you can go ahead and click on the rating that they want. So while our main focus on today's webinar is the website creation, because I'm talking about the contact field, I'm just going to take a moment and I'm going to exit our web builder. I'm going to go ahead first and click save here at the bottom. And I'm going to exit our web and I'm going to go here to our CRM. So the reason for that is because we have a contact, great, people are like, somebody has filled out my form, but how do I know about it? So one of the ways to do that is that make sure that your email is connected. So under CRM settings, you have the ability to kind of connect your email. So you can just put the email that you want to get notified from here, and you're going to go ahead and click connect. don't know if you guys can see that. There you go. It's take you so you can go in, sign with your email. Maybe you have a different provider. You can come in here and select from this list as well, and they'll make sure that there's that connection going through. So that's one of the things that I wanted to mention, which is like, when somebody fills it out, what's that look like? The other thing that I wanted to mention is what does it look like when people actually respond to me? So I'm just going to quickly go back to my website. Oops, sorry about that, guys. Too many buttons. Many buttons on my screen, by the way, not on the product. So I'm just going to go in here and see what my website looks like. And I'm going to fill out that form. And once that form is filled out, what I'm going to be able to do is I'm going to be able to see all of the information that is being put in here within my CRM. But not only that, not only do you have the ability to kind of collect all the information that users are sending to you via the website, but you also have the ability to kind of import your own contacts. So let's say I know who I want to talk to. I talked to James. He's great. I'm going to go ahead and add his contact information here. Ran into him at a conference. Seems like a nice guy. So I'm going to go ahead and add him. And then I can be like, what kind of customer is he? Well, he's a lead. So he's not a customer yet, but I'm hoping he'll be one. And where did I find him? I was like, oh, it was an event. So this is for my own internal purpose. And do I like him? Or does he like us? Probably. We're going to go ahead and give him 5 stars. Any other information that you want, you can go ahead and add that in here. And then I can go ahead and click save. So now that I have my first contact, it'll show up here. So if you have multiple contacts, you can also put this information here. And a CRM, for those who aren't familiar with the lingo, it stands for client relationship management, which is essentially you have all these customers. And I know it's really popular in some countries, for example, to use WhatsApp as a business tool. My mother is one of those. She has her own small business and all of her information isn't on her WhatsApp. And I'm like, how do you navigate it? And she's like, well, I just try to do my best. This is where a CRM comes into play and you're able to kind of visualize, you're able to organize it. And it's just a lot more clear and where you stand with all the customers. So instead of being like, who are you again? You can just come in here and be like, right, of course, James, I met him at a conference. And I can go in here and click into, and he's a lead. And I have all this information on file ready for James. So this is the beauty of the CRM, and we're going to have a whole webinar dedicated to it in the future. But for now, I'm going to go back to our website. I just wanted to highlight it because we had a lot of questions being like, okay, people fill out my form. Where does that information go? So that's where it goes. All of it is stored in Durable. And once you've connected your email, you're able to kind of get notified for that as well. All right. And then lastly, I just want to talk a little bit about this next block here, which is just the text block. So this is a great opportunity to just kind of like highlight your text. About us is a great option. I think this is really great. But one thing that I was like, you know what? I don't like where this is situated. I think the about us should be further up so that people kind of know what we're talking about or who we are. I can go ahead and come in here and just move it up a little bit. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be like, I think the about us would be kind of like a nice block right before our services, because then people can learn who we are, what we do. And there you go. That seems like a kind of like nice, really break. Or better yet, I'm going to make it as a break between my images. So there you go. People find out what I'm doing, learn a little bit more about our history, and then kind of keep scrolling down. To edit this block, same thing. Just going to go ahead, click on that edit button, and I can then come in here and kind of customize it however I want. So this is actually the opportunity. If you're like, I want to tell my story, this is a great place to do so. If you want people to kind of like know where you're coming from. While I encourage you to tell your story through something like block, I'm also going to once again encourage the page. So in the future, in the short future, sorry, let me rephrase that. So what's currently been happening is whenever you want to create a new page, you're going to go ahead and come up here and you're going to click on where it says home. So you see at the very top, there's the exit editor. At the very top here, it says home, and you can click on this button to create a page, or you can click on home itself and you're going to see all of the pages that you currently have. So we have the create page option and create a folder. So a folder, what it does is just kind of ties in all of your pages together. It doesn't really link in here. So a great example of this is services. So if you can have like, at the top of your link, you can have, at the top of your home, you can have a link that says our services. And then when people click on there, it opens up a drop down of all of the different services you provide. That's what a folder is. It just kind of holds all of that together. To create a page right now, you can just go ahead and click create a page and it'll kind of tell you what kind of page is this. And that's how it currently is. But I am super thrilled to announce to everyone that coming shortly, probably by Monday, we're going to be launching a new feature that we're referring to as page templates. So I'm going to jump in here to my website to kind of show you guys what that is. So the beauty of page template is that you're like, well, I want to add pages, but again, like, I don't know where to start. I'm getting kind of like nervous about it. And that's keeping me from building my website. It's just like, I need that help. And so we're here to help you out with that. So now if you go ahead here and click on, I want to add a new page, we are now introducing page templates, which is essentially a bunch of different options for you to kind of cycle through and decide, you know, we were talking about that About Us page. Maybe you want to tell your story. So have that link to a page. This is my About page. I'm going to click on it. I'm going to be able to fill it up with all of the information that I want. Or I want detailed services. You know, I want to be able to kind of specify what all my services are without having to worry about, I'm not a designer. How do I make this look good? Well, don't worry. We're here to help you out with that. Same thing with all the other ones. So we have a bunch of different options here, you know, themes, gallery, if you want to showcase your images, testimonials, all of that. So that's coming really soon. I'm really excited to tell you guys this. And then even things like, you know, terms of service or terms of policy that you're like, oh, I didn't even know I needed that. But these are just kind of great things that you can provide to your customers. And now we're doing the dirty work for you. We just come in here, for example, even with terms of service, I want to add a terms of service page. And initially, if you ask me, well, where do I even begin? I would be like, oh gosh, I don't know. I'm going to have to like go back to my university days, sit down, research. What do I have to say? But with Durable's help, we can go ahead and do this for you. So I'm going to let that load. And then when we have our page, that's kind of weird. I'm going to create just a very basic page here. Basic page. So we can just kind of talk a little bit more about how to link that page that I was talking about. So this is our current feature, which is just, it has our header and it has our footer, but the section itself is kind of free. Maybe you like that, you know, which is why we've made sure to keep our blank option. So when we add a page, if you click on add page here in the new one, this is our blank. Maybe you like that. You like being able to create it exactly the way that you want it. And this is just kind of an example here of what our terms and services would look like. You know, you agree to the following, blah, 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 all of that. That's personally one of my favorite parts about AI is that it takes something that would take a lot of my time usually, and it makes it so much more easy and so much more approachable. It's great. Okay. So here's my basic page. I'm not going to go ahead and edit it right now, but if I were to, you know, it'd follow the same steps, I would go ahead and click add section and fill it out. But what I want to use it for is kind of that services that I was talking about. So I'm going to scroll down to my services here, my property management. So assuming that my property management page is linked up, what I'm going to do is now that I have a page selected, I can go ahead and pick that new page that I created. Ideally, just for your easy convenience, I would recommend naming your page to whatever you plan on connecting it to. So instead of basic page, you do something like property management so that you know what each page is, and also just helps with the SEO. All right, and now I have a basic page, and now that when I save it, when users click on more info, it'll open up to that new page that you've created. Great. And last but not least, we just have our footer. So the main thing about the footer is just like it serves usually multiple functions, but it's where you can put a lot of your really necessary links, but you don't want clogging up your homepage. So things like terms of use, contact information, privacy policy, all of that are really great options to kind of have here on the footer. It works similar to the header, which is that you can come in here, you can have a logo if you want to, or you can have, special social links and anything like that you can add in here. Same thing. So if you're like, I want to add in any of these ones or even a custom one, which means that you can upload your own icon and you can link it. That's a great kind of place to have it show up here. And the same thing with pages. So if you're like, well, let's say I have a privacy policy page, where do I display it? On your page itself, you're going to come in here, click on the little button, click on settings, and then you can just have that page show up on my footer settings. So thank you so much for that. So now I was like, okay, great. I finished my website. I want to see it in action. So all of that you can kind of hear. So a couple of things to do is you can go ahead and click on view your website. And this is what my website looks like. It's up and ready. And I want to click around. So all of the things. So this is my basic page. And I was like, you know what? I actually don't want my basic page to show up right there. I'm going to make a mental note. Beauty of Durable is that you can come in here and be like, actually, I don't want this to show up here. I want to show up just on the footer. Great. Or you do, maybe you do, you know, that's kind of up to you. You're definitely able to kind of change that up. And then here's my homes for sale. Look at that. It looks great. If I click on my contact us button up here, it's going to open up my emails. You guys can't see this, but it's opened up my Gmail here on the side. And I can go ahead and just kind of click. I can also click, for example, on my Instagram page, and that will open up our Durable Instagram page. If you're not following us yet, please go ahead and do so. We appreciate any follows. It's also a great way to just see really great videos. We really like using memes. And then, yeah, so this is kind of what my website looks like. It's now live. It's great. And I can go click through my testimonials and all of that. But that's overall, that's kind of like the main thing. And then lastly, I know we only have 15 minutes left. That is an overview of how to initiate your creation with Durable. What we recommend is that, you know, you take some time and you just kind of think about what do you want your website to reflect, and you can change it over time. And that's part of the beauty of a website, is that you can come in here and every time you have a new product, every time you have a new service or even promotions, you can come in here, update, and it will update accordingly as well. So that I can make sure that every time I want to put my name out there, I know it's displayed. So I want to just take this minute I'm going to stop sharing here for a second, and I'm going to open up another screen because I want to highlight some of the great websites that some of our so some of our customers have done on their own end, which I think are amazing. And I really want to showcase just kind of like the power of what you can do with Durable. So here are a couple of ones, like, you know, you have some really engaging content, some images that pop, like this is already, I'm really interested in like all these products. They're just like a great website in itself. You can see that all of these options lead to new pages, which is great because I want to learn more about specific content strategy. So this is a really great website that we want to highlight. You know, they've gone ahead in here and they've added in specific images. Another really great one is this one here. They've embedded one of our chats. They've embedded a chat option, which is great. So that's also another thing that I didn't get a chance to mention, but we'll be sure to send out in some documentation shortly after, which is that there are also a lot of other sections that I didn't touch on that you have the ability to integrate things if you have the right embed code. So things like cookies or pop-ups, or even things like chat, we're able to host those. We're able to kind of like allow you to add those into the website, and then you'll be able to kind of make it even more yours or have specific needs that you're wanting to meet. This is a great way of doing that. And then we have here another really great furniture one. Love the images on these ones. They really pop up. Some other options, you know, and also in different languages as well is another thing. So one of the new features that we're working really hard on, that we get a lot of requests on, and making sure that just, do you support different languages? Do you support translation? So that's a really big one for us. We are an international team ourselves. We speak multiple languages. We want to make sure that the reflection, you know, of ourselves personally also goes out to our customers, and we're working on being able to kind of integrate better languages there. And some other really great ones. I love this one. Cute dog photos. Like, what's not to love about just having some really great dogs? I'm seeing a lot of people raise their hands, and I'm definitely encourage you guys to either add it in the chat or in the QA, because we want to make sure that we answer all of your questions. Speaking of questions, thank you to all of those of you who submitted questions prior to this, and I want to make sure to touch base on a couple of them. If we've run out of time, then we'll be sure to send an email after this to everyone who attended, and even those who didn't have the ability to attend. You know, we are recording this, so we'll be able to put that on to we'll be able to email you guys out with a recording of this whole webinar, as well as some really useful links. I could go on and talk about this. In fact, with the success of today's webinar, we're going to be doing a lot of more webinars in the future. We'll probably, you know, do either specific ones about the different features, but also we want to talk about just like different niches. So, you know, if you're really into photography, or very specific, even more like dog photography, we will have a webinar just for you depending on interest, so that we're able to kind of help you out with that specifically. And if by any chance, you know, there's an email or there's a question that we didn't get to, please reach out to our support team. They're a wonderful group of people, and they're there to help out with as many things as you may want. So you can reach them at support@durable.co, and they'll pass them along to me. You're welcome to reach out to me as well. Absolutely. You have my email. So you can reach out to that. And we just want to make sure that you guys get the best that you can out of everything. So yeah, so this is kind of what it is. So these are some other really great websites that we really want to highlight. Like, look how great these pictures look. You can tell that these people really took some care and thought to make sure that their website is really showcasing. You can see here at the top, they have a bunch of different icons as well, some book now, really calling that call to action there. So all of these things are really great examples as to some of the wonderful things that Durable can do for you guys. And I'm just going to go back here to our final screen just to kind of mention today's agenda. So I'm going to take some moment just really quickly to kind of go through our Q&A, make sure that we answer any that, So we're getting some questions about how much hosting is. So we have a special treat for you guys, which is that after today's webinar, we're going to be sending out in an email a special code for you guys to get a free month off on your second website. So if you create a second website and you want to host it, you get the first month off with this code that we're going to be sending out to you guys. And I'm trying to think of what else that I can cover. And you guys have been a wonderful audience, and we really appreciate all that you've done. I want to make sure that we still have a couple of questions. If you haven't had a chance yet, our team has been doing a wonderful job in the background. While I talk, they have answered 78 questions. That's crazy. And all of those questions, maybe some are applicable to you as well. So you can go ahead, take some minutes, click on that answer, just see but we'll also try to make sure that those get sent out with that email, because we want to make sure we know when it comes to websites, you want to make it yours, and you have a bunch of questions. So we're hoping to kind of help you out with as many of those as we can. Before we go, though, I do want to just kind of launch some polls, because I just want to have an idea of who are thank you for joining us. We just want to have a little bit more idea of what your guys' business are. So you'll see a poll here come up on your screen. If you could take a couple of seconds, just kind of answer it a little bit. So we have an idea of numbers. It'll just really help us know who's using Durable, how we can best grow to benefit your specific needs, that kind of thing. So yeah, I can see already a lot of really great responses here. You guys can't see it, but there's a lot of lights filming on me. Okay, great. Thank you so much for those who answered the poll. I have a couple more, so I'm going to launch that one for you guys as well. And then I'm going to launch the second one here, which is essentially just an idea how long have you been in business? Couple of years. Wow, it's great to see how the answers jumped from either we have under 1 year or over 10 years seem to be the ones that really jumped in. And I'm really excited for you if you just started your business. That's really great. And I'm based on kind of what James said about that you are part of the group that we really want to help to be able to that a website is one of the great ways to get up and running, and we want to be able to provide all that for you for a very affordable price, but also not having you don't have to use multiple different applications in order to do that. So that will be kind of great here. I'm getting people asking for examples of how to use the folder option. Absolutely. We'll make sure to send out after this recording, after this webinar, an email with some support docs. One of them is kind of the difference between a folder and between the page. That is a great way there. Thank you for answering that. I have 2 more for you guys, and then I will let you guys go. There you go. So this one is less of a clicking and more of a just writing a short little answer. So you can take your time with these ones. I'm going to give it a couple of minutes there of how to do that. And again, big shout out to James and Jonathan and Gabriel and Ross, who were some of our participants, as well as Elio. These are some of the incredible names that have helped make Durable what it is. And they've helped me a lot during this Q&A, because I'm sure I'd be a lot more scattered if I had to answer your questions. And that's part of what we want to do in webinar. We want to make sure that you guys know that we're here for you. We're actual people, and that we want to make sure that you get the best out of this and that your business is as successful as it can be. So really appreciate all of you that are taking time to answer the poll, to hang out after the webinar. So I'm going to give you guys 1 more minute in order to answer the poll there for those who haven't had a chance yet. I'm going to look at the chat briefly. While I'm waiting for that, what I'll take this opportunity to do as well is just kind of talk a little bit about our AI assistant. Hopefully you guys can still see my screen. So the AI assistant is something that we recently launched, and we're really, really excited about it. So you might have heard a lot about, like artificial intelligence. How can that help me out even more? And the AI assistant is essentially part of that. So you'll see here when you log in on the left-hand side here, there is that new assistant. So what it is I like saying that it's like an even smarter Google, and it's tailored specifically to you. So if you're here and you're writing and you're like, I don't know where to begin, I don't know where to kind of take this. I have a website, and now what are the next steps that I can do? Well, the AI assistant is here for you. So what you can do is you can be like, well, can you please write a marketing strategy for me? I don't know where to begin. And so what the AI assistant is going to be like, sure, here's a great strategy for you. It's going to take what the information that it already has regards to your website, and it's going to tailor some of the things that it thinks will best help you. And with most things like AI, the more that you use it, the more it's going to become familiar with your voice, the way that you talk, or some of your goals as well. So this is kind of a great example for that. You can also access it at any point by click. So if you want to save it, you can go ahead and click, I like this, I want to save it and come back to it. That's where kind of we refer to them as documents. So if you want to see the previous, questions that you've asked that you want to come back to, you're like, okay, great, I have a marketing strategy, I want to make sure that I can put in launch. You can go ahead and save it, and that's where the documents are going to kind of stand up here. And then you'll also notice you can access it at any point while you're doing your website through this little lightning bolt here. Same thing, it's going to ask me, how to do something. And you can ask it questions like, how to change my logo. And it will either point you to a support doc if we have that, which is the case here. It opens it up and it's going to show you how to change your logo, and it's going to tell you step by step, this is how it is. Like we said, we want to make sure that while you're on your website journey or small business journey, you have somebody there to help you out. And, we are here for you, but we also have our AI assistant that can be your own personalized assistant. That's why we called it an assistant. It's somebody that you can come in here at any point and be like, I need help. Can you help me? And it'll go ahead and tell you exactly how to do that. So that's, again, if I want to do that, I can go ahead and save. Okay. And then I have one final poll for everyone. Thank you so much for that. Let me stop 1 second. I got to change my window here. There you go. So I'm going to go ahead and ask one final question for everyone, which is, what industry is your business in? Just so we have a little bit. I've just been notified by my team that I may have not been sharing the right window. Sorry about that. I can go through this again if you guys wanted to. So we can go ahead here. So I was talking about the AI assistant. Like I said, if you need anything. Oh, thank you so much. Sorry. Great little message there from Elena. We're so happy to answer your doubts. We find that webinars are really great for kind of like this face-to-face. And I promise the more that we do them, the more I'll talk slower, the more I'll calm down a little bit. I'm just really excited to be able to share with you guys all that Durable can offer. And so appreciate, like I said, you guys taking the time to kind of listen and all that. So yeah, so a new AI assistant you can find here on the left-hand side of your dashboard. So if you log in for the first time, this is what it looks like. On the left-hand side here, we have the assistant, and you can ask it any questions and just kind of really utilize it to the best of your abilities. So thank you so much for everyone. It is 11 o'clock, and I'm going to have to let you guys go, but this has been a wonderful way to spend an hour. I really enjoyed it. I hope you have too. Thank you again for those who stayed up late. For the time zones, we're going to try to be more mindful of them going forward. We're hoping to grow internationally, so we really appreciate it. The same thing with different languages. We're hoping that in the future we can have these webinars in different language, leverage the fact that we are ourselves an international team, and kind of bring those up too. Or if not, try to provide we're going to have different closed captions or subtitles translations for this webinar after the fact. So again, thank you so much for joining, and we really appreciate it. If you have any other questions, like I said, please feel free to reach out to us at support@durable.co, or you can reach out to me directly, and keep an eye out for an email from us, just kind of going over everything that we talked about. And also any new ideas. We're going to send a survey after this as well, asking with any new specific webinars that you guys are looking for, anything else that you'd like to see in the future, because we're really excited about this new way of communicating with you. And we hope you are too. So once again, thank you so much for joining us, everyone. I hope you have a great, it's Wednesday for us here. I hope everyone has a great rest of your week as well as a really lovely weekend. Have a great day.